Welcome to this week's episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. I'm your host, Varun, and I've got DJ with me this week, and we're going to talk about all things Asia Cup, which is coming up in less than 7 days, India, Zimbabwe, and a little bit about Bazball. DJ, how are you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. I have first of all, I have a cricketing question for you, right?
Yes.
So I play cricket on the weekends. Yesterday, for the third time this season, I was bowled on my leg stump of a spinner. So people talk about not knowing where your off stump is. I clearly don't know where my leg stump is. I don't know what to do about this. I'm shuffling too much.
Is it a leg spinner or off spinner?
So I've been bowled once by a left arm spinner, so that came in around my legs.
Okay.
Yesterday I went around to try and pull it and I missed it and I hit the top of leg bail. So the problem really is that every day I'm shuffling. That was horrible. It was horrible. Like, it's the worst way to get out. So any tips on improving my leg stump play?
I don't know. Maybe I think you should watch these like Chris Lynn type guys. They just sweep the whole day, right? So they cover themselves. They take a nice single. But yeah, it's definitely not fun getting bowled by a spinner. I imagine if the mid stump was like cartwheeling back, you would still be like, that was good.
I have too much time. That's the problem. I've shuffled so much that I've like missed it on my leg stump. It's appalling. I'm playing again today.
I saw you had some nice golf driving range practice. How's that going?
Yeah, it's okay. Once my hands and legs stop working, then I guess I have to take up another sport, right? So I'm preparing for my old age by taking up golf.
Which is what all cricketers do, right?
Apparently, yeah, I don't know. It's actually like quite a difficult game for a cricketer to play because as a cricketer, you're trained to hit the ball straight and long, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't always have to hit the ball far in golf. It's better to hit it straight. So exactly. Hitting a 165-yard drive isn't going to help you if you just need to go like 80 yards and you just need to go straight. So if you hit into the trees, so I've lost a few golf balls over
the also last you have few weeks. One bat in cricket, but like 14 clubs in golf. So you have to keep changing how you do it.
It's too much. But one day we'll play, man. I know you're a big golfer, so hopefully I'll be able to give you a game.
Ashwin plays a lot, but that'll be fun, man.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about India Zimbabwe first, because that's the series going on. Before we get into the actual matches, I know you had run something on social media where everyone had to kind of send in their favorite India Zimbabwe memories. I definitely have. I have two that I can remember. I'll just tell you those. I want to hear yours and what everyone else had to say. One was definitely that Henry Olonga spell at the World Cup. I'm sure that came up. The other thing is, and you
that's not your favorite. That's not your favorite memory, though. That's like
that's like the most favorite. Yeah, the thing I remember the most. The other thing I remember is I just have this weird memory of Robin Singh coming out and hitting 57 not out and winning games regularly at Parl. I don't know. Has it happened more than once?
This is where Sachin scored 104. We chased 240 in 40 overs to get into the Tri-Series final. This is in like South Africa.
Yeah,
and Sachin
exactly.
6 straight over off Edo Brandes. What a shot that was. And Tony Gregg was on commentary and it was like...
As always.
That's a wonderful, wonderful shot. Oh, memories.
I remember that quite clearly.
And I think Robin Singh and Jadeja finished off that game to help us qualify because I think Sachin got out with a few runs to get.
Yeah, so what was yours and what was everyone else's?
So one of my favorite memories is actually... of course, the Sachin taking Olonga apart in Sharjah after being embarrassed a little bit by him in the previous game. I think there's a video on YouTube which says Sachin anger in full power or something like that, which is great. We'll put a link in the show notes. The most depressing memory is probably the 99 World Cup where I think we gave away 46 extras as well in the first innings while only conceding 240 something, and then Olonga took 3 wickets in an over, including Robin Singh. Caught at cover and Srinath swiping across the line. Sachin wasn't playing that game. Remember, he'd gone home for his father's funeral.
Yeah.
And we only had 47 overs because Agarkar bowled so many wides that we overran on time. So that was the first time Ajit Agarkar really failed. But Dougie Marilia is another depressing memory. But in the same series, it's a memory that I have with you, actually. And I'd come over to your house to watch a game, and India were playing an ODI against Zimbabwe in whites. And Ajit
Really?
Agarkar scored 67 of 25 balls.
Dude,
And
what? I can't remember this at all.
we
Six.
watched, yeah, fastest 50 by an Indian, and now joint
Oh,
fastest with Rahul Dravid, equaling it. But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. I always remember when I
wow.
used to come to your house, I used to ask for 2 Cokes. I never used to drink
Yeah.
Coke.
Yeah, this is because I was only a lot of Coke and Friends kids. I
With
used to make
guests.
sure they got one so that
And I
I
was like,
could,
I don't want a Coke. Shut up.
yeah,
Have a Coke.
always take it. If it's coming, always take it.
And give it to me. But yeah,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
I do remember that game. Of course, there were others like Grant and Andy Flower. Andy Flower sweeping and reverse sweeping for days.
Man, what a team they had actually towards the end of the 90s, right?
Yeah,
When you
intense.
start thinking about it, it was a very, very solid lineup.
Yeah, and we used to go to Zimbabwe and we used to like come back with drawn series. From what I
Yeah.
remember, there was Ashish Nehra, I think, made his debut against Zimbabwe and was taken off for running on the wicket as well. Yeah, I mean, they were a really strong team. Of course, they fell away over time. They also did well in the 99 World Cup. They went to the semi-finals or nearly went to the semi-finals. If I'm not, no,
Yeah, I remember they
they
did
did
well.
well. They went to the Super 6 stage, not the
Yeah.
semi-finals.
Didn't Kenya make it to the semifinals in some World Cup? No,
2003 when Dada scored 100. Mino
yeah,
Basha
daddy, a
Dada.
big daddy
He
100.
scored he scored 100 against Kenya and I think Namibia in
Yes.
that World Cup. It was just like, if you are not a regular test playing nation, I'll score 100
Oh,
against you.
dude, since you mentioned Dada, do you remember? I remember there was this Coca-Cola flip book that showed Dada hitting Paul Strang. Paul Strang was Zimbabwean, right?
Yeah. Paul
Dada
and
hitting
Brian.
like, yeah, just stepping out and hitting Dada. Dada hitting Paul Strang for six. There was this little
No,
flip
wasn't
book
that
that you.
Afridi?
No. It was definitely Paul Strang. It was. Yeah, I remember that was very clear.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyway, so these memories probably seem to be more fun than
So
the actual.
what was your memory though? Like if you have the
Mine was
worst
a.
memory.
I have the Robinson one and the World Cup one. Those are the
Okay.
two.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Dougie Marilia sweeping Zahir Khan. There was also Zahir Khan hitting 4 sixes in an over off Henry
Yeah.
Alonga, actually. Just pretty
A
funny.
lot of our memories are centered on Henry Alonga. If that's a trend, you can tell from the
Yeah.
last 3 to 4 minutes. But like I was saying, DJ, this conversation seems to be a little bit more like memorable than the two matches that have passed so far. First, what's your take, man? Like BCCI wants to set up these like roster of players who can go and play everywhere. Like I'll be very honest, I haven't watched much of it, right? I've got a lot of other stuff going on. DJ, you have watched some because the timing works for you. I wonder what's the view. Do you think these guys are really kind of is it really driving that incremental revenue for a BCCI? Is it Zimbabwe Cricket Board that's paying BCCI to come here? Like what do you think is the longer term play on these type of series? Because I can only gauge it by like, my WhatsApp groups. Do they light up when India's playing? Generally, yes. Has there been a single message about the Zimbabwe games? No. So I'm just curious.
I don't know anymore what to think about this, man. Every day we seem to have a new captain. Every day we seem to have some new wicket keeper. Somebody else is playing. I mean, at one point, right? Like when you were a kid, like your parents were like, okay, maybe cricket is not a career because only 11 players play for India. That is
Yeah.
no longer the case because we've had like 48 people play for India this year itself. And it's
Yeah.
like we're just handing out caps like candy, and I get it. We're doing like we're creating a pool of players and all that stuff, but it does take away a little bit from the spectacle and the anticipation of what Team India playing cricket is. And I don't know how many of our listeners are actually following the Zimbabwe series. I was reading tweets on Twitter which were like, अगर तुम ये देख रहे हो तो तुम्हारी जिंदगी बर्बाद है. Clearly मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद है because I was sitting
I'm
and
glad I
watching
said
it.
I haven't watched too much, man.
Yeah, but I was
You
sitting in.
unleash that.
Yeah, but I'm sitting and watching it, but I'm watching it for like interest in, I don't know, because I like cricket. I'll watch anything. I even watched the 100. I mean, I know there must be
Yeah.
fans of the 100, but like I watch the 100 because if it's on, I'm an
Yeah.
addict, right? So
Yeah.
other than the
Cricket in
extreme cricket addicts, who is watching Shikhar Dhawan score 57 of 92 balls against Zimbabwe? Tell me.
Yeah, it is only, and yeah, it's only the cricket addicts who could watch that.
No, he scored more
It's
than
a
that by the end, but there was a point at which he was 57 of like 90 balls, and I was just like, what is he doing?
and that's hard to watch, man. But anyway, so you mentioned Dhawan. So what's the deal? He's just an ODI specialist who will be captain when Rohit and Rahul and Rish Pant and Pandya and Bumrah are not playing. Is that what it is? Because
The
here is
sixth choice
Dhawan.
captain.
Yeah. I mean, there are only 11 in the team, right? So here you've got Shikhar Dhawan, who's like on 3 in the dressing room. We shout champions and stuff. And then he flies off to Zimbabwe, lands there as the captain of the team. And then, like a day later, it's like, Rahul is back. Thank you very much for your services.
But Shikhar is such a great captain, man. Like I love him because he all he does is make these Insta reels.
Yeah,
Have you
he's
seen his
great.
Insta reel game? It's pretty good.
It's pretty
I
good. And
Yeah.
he gets a bit hardcore sometimes, like his dad and his cook at home, and they're like hardcore, like Bollywood dialogues. And did you see one where he was lying on the floor and like
Yeah.
somebody tried to cross him or like anyway, you guys should check that out if you do. But yeah,
Yeah.
his real game is very
But
strong.
he's the
His
sixth. He's the sixth choice captain at the moment, probably, which is pretty hard on him. But I mean, now our leadership group, like you know how they in the corporate world, I'm sure you get all these leadership things, like make everybody feel like they're leading the team, take ownership of the team, and like we literally have that. How many captains have
yeah,
we had in the last six? Ever since Kohli gave it up, let's be clear.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
been
For
like
like five
musical
years, we
chairs.
had one captain.
Yeah, it's been like musical chairs. People have just been like, Acha, I'm injured, my knee is hurting. I don't know, I've had too much vada pav today, so I can't play. Then let's bring somebody else in. Isko COVID ho gaya, isko ye ho gaya. It's become, I don't know, it's not been that fun for an Indian cricket
Yeah,
fan.
it's not. That consistency is missing. The workload management is like, yeah, workload management is important, but even the number of games is important, right? You can, if there's two levers to pull when you have workload management, you don't have to play this many games,
Yeah. You don't have
or
to
you
play
don't have the
these
top
many
players.
India games, right? That's the point. You
Yeah,
play your India A games,
yeah.
which are non-televised and whatever else. I
And
don't
so,
know,
and
like,
that's what my thing is. And that's where I come back to that original question: what kind of money is being made on this? Because it's clearly lucrative to do this versus play India A.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just so interesting. Like obviously, India is playing, the ad revenue anyone would get is very high, but now you start fast forwarding 3 years, and like India B is playing uh, Zimbabwe, and
But we
how
won't
much are
call
you
it
going to
India
sell?
B. We're not going to
No,
call
that's
it
what I'm
India
saying.
B.
That's
But
right, quote
so
unquote
do you
India
think that
B.
the prestige for an India cap and India jersey has reduced by this?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has, right? Like we joke about it so much, but in IPL fantasy, there's this uncapped player who's
Mm,
free, basically.
mm.
At this point, there is nobody left, right? There's nobody uncapped anymore. Like 2 years ago, we had Gaikwad and Padikkal and Bishnoi and
Mm.
Kishan and Sky and like so many guys. Now just think about it. Some have worked, some haven't. I'm not like, I'm obviously saying uncapped from a joking perspective, but yes, it's changed the whole game completely.
And so is the logical extension to that that at some point we will stop playing so much international cricket. There'll be more franchise cricket where the Bishnois and the Skies and all of these guys will like play, and then you'll have a little bit of internet, like football, right? Are we moving towards that club model? That is actually the question that is in everyone's mind. Every
I
day you
mean,
have a new league coming up.
yeah, but you see, the FTP has announced its tours till 2027.
Mm,
The number of matches has gone up, tests and T20s. The only thing in that article that I was reading very quickly is that April and May has been kept for no international cricket because of the
except for
IPL.
the IPL. But
And
are we
IPL
basically
is all...
killing the golden goose by that? Like you have Kohli, who's just talked about he's had mental health issues. It's the first time, and it's big news. I don't know how much you followed that.
I
But
mean, I know. Look, I know that he's got that. I also know that yesterday was his 1000th day without a century. Just think of how much people are talking about this kind of nonsense, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and he's talked about it. Meg Lanning has taken a break. Ben Stokes has come off a break. I mean,
Ben Stokes has retired from one format.
he's retired from one for Trent Bolt has contracted out of his central New
Yeah,
Zealand duties because he's got a young family and again he wants to play more franchise cricket, right?
yeah.
You've got people like Tim David who are going around the world playing cricket as freelancers and they need to figure out whether they're going to be contracted to Cricket Australia. Hasaranga was told he can't play the 100 for £100,000 contract. That in Sri Lanka's current economy is a lot of money. And he
Yeah.
was not given permission to play. Warner wanted to go and play like the Emirates League instead of the Big
And
Bash.
now he's had to resign BBL after 9 years, I think, to be able to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all moving towards like a franchise model. Mumbai Indians are going out and buying teams in South Africa and the Emirates.
And calling it Mumbai Indians Cape Town.
My Cape Town?
It's so horrible. That name is so horrible.
Listen,
and
there's
then
so much
Dubai
marketing
Capitals,
budget.
Dubai Capitals and all. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know whether we're killing this golden goose for someone like Kohli who's so intense on the field. You can't keep that level of intensity up across IPL games, T20 games, ODI games. Okay, test matches. No one's telling him to play everything, but yeah, you have a limited shelf life. Why wouldn't you if you're fit enough and he's fit enough?
And that's where you're going to have to choose. But for Indian players, the choice is pretty simple because you're not allowed to play any other league. So they don't like somebody like
yet because now who owns teams in the South African and Emirates League?
Yeah, fair enough.
So eventually that's going to come. Eventually it must come, surely. Like it's all about globalization, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a model where it works. But anyway, DJ, before we talk Asia Cup and the England South Africa test, tell me any highlights in this India Zimbabwe series. Like Deepak Chahar was back, Rahul was back, Samson is playing for sure. Deepak Hooda has now got a weird record and statistic to his name. He's the only guy who has won, I think, 16 matches on the trot since his debut.
Oh, so he's the lucky. So usko World Cup khilana chahiye.
Exactly.
So matlab guaranteed win.
I mean, he has not lost a game. And I think if I remember the last 1 month or 1.5 months, we've lost one game versus West Indies. And clearly he was not playing that game. So he has won 60. He's been part of a squad that has won 60 matches on the trot. Like, that's crazy.
Didn't we lose one against England also?
Yeah, but obviously
Sky
didn't play that.
Sky scored 100 in that, right? Sky batted 3-4, whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk general highlights of the India Zimbabwe. We won't run through the two games.
Dudda. Do you call him Dudda?
Dudda. I know. Yeah, I call him Dudda. Yeah, that's right.
Dudda. He's got a good record.
Dudda. It's Dudda, not Dudda.
Oh, okay.
You're talking like Dudda Ganesh.
Dudda Ganesh.
Dudda. Yes.
Dudda. So Deepak Chahar came back. That was good. He played one game, got rested promptly, but he showed us that he's back in that one game. Of course, he went away before the IPL. I think he was like a 1.4 million man or 1.6 million man in
very,
IPL.
very expensive.
He's the most expensive player in the IPL, actually. Or maybe Kishan
I think Kishan just
beat him. Yeah, he showed he was back. Shubman Gill played a nice innings, but the Zimbabwean bowlers and Shikhar Dhawan slightly conspired to deny him yet another chance at his maiden international century.
And he's doing no wrong. He's doing a great job. Every time they send him somewhere to open or bat, he hits runs, but he is nowhere in the reckoning of a squad position in any tournament.
But didn't he open the batting in England? In the last test match? He did?
Yeah, in
the
test,
last test
yes.
match
I'm
we
talking
played,
a little bit.
Yeah.
More, yeah, more
Not
about.
not
But that's also because
ODI.
Rahul was not available. Yeah.
But see, he's the sole successor to Kohli, man. For me, in the ODI game, he's just has the same perfectly paced type of game. He can hit a few big shots. He rotates the strike, hits the gaps, got great cover drive. But that's a discussion for a later day, I guess. Yeah, Gill did well. Shekhar just did his Shekhar things, which was come in, just run a ball, and just be there at the end. He got hit, and then he put up an Insta story with like a big bruise and say, who would like a love bite like this? Shekhar is just living his best life, dude. Like, genuinely.
He's made it also very clear. He's one of the few people who's come out and said the ODI format is amazing. What a format it is. And everyone's like T20 or Test. He's just like ODI is the shit. Like,
he's
come out
just
and put
nailing his spot down for 2023.
Yeah, that's it.
Honestly.
That's it. He just has to play the 2023 World Cup, and I think he's done.
Yeah,
He's done.
and he just bats like that across formats, whether it's for Sunrisers or Delhi Capitals or like when he used to open the bat, he just bats at the same pace. It's great. And then Samson did well in the last game. Batted really well, got 43 not out when India were in a little bit of bother. KL didn't do much, didn't bat in the first game, got out early in the second game. Not much else really to say.
I mean, I would say, I would say the Prasidh. I wanted to ask you about Prasidh a little bit. Like, he seems to be bowling these test match lines, and I think he's definitely going to be in the test squad, but you just have to keep pushing, man. He's a good bowler.
Yeah, so I would have said
Siraj. So let's talk about Prasidh. We also talked about Siraj as outswinger.
Yeah, so Siraj, last year when I watched him at in England, he basically just brought the ball in. Like, constantly just bowled at the stumps, bowled outside off stump or on off stump and brought it in to the right-hander. And yesterday in the second ODI, I sat and watched him open the bowling, and he was bowling away swing, which isn't his natural.
He picked up a nice wicket also like that.
Yeah, and you can see like he's worked on that. It's not his natural way of bowling, and so if he can bowl both ways, man, he's going to be a handful. So because there's so much competition for fast bowling spot, right? You've got people like Umesh, you've got Prasidh, you've got, of course, Boom, you've got Shami. These guys are sharing their know-how, clearly. Like, Shami is somebody who would share his know-how. And, like, Siraj is the young gun who's, like, he's coming through the ranks. And you
can see that he's being made to push the hard yards, right? Like, suddenly Shami is not being seen as a limited overs bowler, like focus on tests. And Siraj has been pushed into the ODI and T20 kind of setup to say, bowl, just keep going.
Yeah, and I mean, someone like Bhuvi is probably helping him by being in the squad, teaching him some of the tricks. So I was very impressed by Siraj's spell yesterday. And good to see him developing new skills. Who's the other one that you wanted to talk about? Prasidh. He's tall, hits the deck. He, to my mind, is the Liam Plunkett type of bowler. Comes in the middle overs, hits the deck hard, takes wickets. But I don't know how much of a future he's got in this side until 2023, because you're playing the World Cup in India. I'm not sure you need that kind of bowler in India, to be totally honest with you. Outside of India, you could play him, but I don't see him being a real contender for the ODI squad.
Fair enough. So there you have it. We're going to take a quick break and join us on the other side, because we're definitely going to talk about that India Asia Cup preview. So we'll be back after this short break.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Dr. S. Prakash. He's the Managing Director of Star Health. They discuss the different types of health insurance. We have a new show, Cyberpoint by Checkpoint. Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay talks to Prakash Bell. He's the Head of Security Engineering at Checkpoint Software Technologies. They discuss phishing, what it is, and how one can stay safe from it. On Probation se Promotion Tak, Abhinav Trivedi discusses some basic personality hacks to convert your work insecurity into your strength. On Storytelligence Story Sellers, Saloni Gaur and Neil discuss the world of influencer marketing. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Samir Nair. He's the CEO of Applause Entertainment. They discuss Samir's body of work in the Indian television and OTT space. And on Marathi Khidkitun, the Deshmukhs decode M.M. Deshpande's poem, Kadat Nahi. Once again, I'd like to remind you all, please do check out our merch. It's available on IVM Podcast website. Go click the shop tab and you'll be able to see our first collections of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, we got a bunch of YouTube channels as well. And if you want to check that out, go to our website, ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. We have a list of all those channels. And remember, do tell a friend if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter. Word of mouth is one of the most important and best ways for us to get the word out about this podcast. Also, it's a way for you to have discussions about a podcast with your friends. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Boat Lifestyle, Checkpoint Software, Small Case, and Intel vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back from the break. DJ, where were you on day 3 of the England-South Africa test and who did you meet?
I was at Lord's. I'd taken some clients for the day out at Lord's. It was a day where I'd say Bazball probably died a little bit.
Wasim Jafar had the best tweet. Did you see that?
What did he say?
It's like, he said, England, ... Bazball is our new way of playing and we win in the 4th innings. South Africa, ... There will be no 4th innings.
It's true. They won by an innings in 12 runs and I met with the Lungi Ngidi on the boundary.
You put that video up on Insta. That was great.
Yeah, it was great. He saw that the Edges and Sledges guys were there at Lord, so he just came over to say hi. I mean, it's like, we're that famous. So and subscribe. And subscribe, guys. Leave us reviews.
No, but that was awesome, man. That was fun to see you put up a video with him. But yeah, there was a lot of anticipation coming into this game. And I'll tell you why. Because England is on this like Bazball trend for the last 4 tests that they've played. And they have done well, no doubt. But South Africa is like this dark horse, which none of us expected them to do anything in Test cricket. And for the last 9 to 12 months, they have done so well. Their bowling has always been solid, as a friend of mine pointed out. But suddenly their batting is clicking. The youngsters are doing well. We saw that in the India series as well. Like, we just couldn't conquer South Africa. They were too good for us. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're sitting at the top of the World Test Championship table, comfortably at like 75%. Australia's next at 70. So, coming to England, winning, they've got a fantastic history at Lord's. But DJ, like you would have expected England to put up more of a fight, right? They essentially, the first innings kind of cost them that game. They got 165 all out. Nobody except Ollie Pope stood up. I mean, almost everyone else was single digits. And then South Africa came in and just turned the screws, right? 326. So, I mean, that's what it was. Just the first 2 days itself, the game was done.
Boss, England don't win if Joe Root doesn't score 100. It's actually that simple. Sometimes they even lose when Joe Root scores 100, like Lord's last year. So, if Root doesn't score runs, the team tends to fold. Bairstow was their savior. He didn't do anything. And the intensity from the South African quicks was something else. Like, okay, so you play out Nokia, he was bowling speed. Like, it was 94.4. And, there's IPL speed guns and 100 speed guns telling you people are bowling 90 miles an hour. I wouldn't believe that. Yeah,
what he was bowling.
What Nokia was bowling that day was serious wheels, boss. It was hot. You could see them like hopping around, and it was that I was sitting straight. I was sitting in the Etridge stand, and it was like the ball was flying. There was a bit of bounce as well in the track, and it was uncomfortable. And he was angry in the first innings as well because
you always wanted to see that, right? Because in IPL, he's been very good. The previous year, he's been very bad the second year. But somehow in T20 cricket, that pace, it still finds its way to the boundary. But in Test cricket, when you unleash that kind of pace, it's just a different, it's special.
It's a different level when you feel that level of heat, man. It was insane. And then that guy comes off, Rabada and Nokia open the bowling. And then, when you think, I've got through the tough stuff, on comes Jansen, who's also bowling like 85, left arm.
And the angle.
Ngidi, my friend, Lungi.
So just
plus Maharaj. You're just like,
in fact, if in the first innings, Maharaj didn't bowl.
yeah, he didn't need to. They were out for 165, right?
Yeah,
And also
exactly.
with South Africa, because they're playing those bowlers, you might think that Maharaj is batting too high up in the order. The key for them was to get those 40, 50, 40s and 50s down the order, right? Jansen got runs. He got 49.
Yeah.
Maharaj got 41.
Maharaj out for him. Yeah.
So that is key. Like, if those guys are batting and can get you runs, you can afford to play those 5 full-fledged bowlers. There's no part-time over there. It's
and the scorecard was absolutely opposite. Like England had 2 people in their double digits, and South Africa had only 2 in single digits. So just imagine if everyone chips away with between 30 and 70. That's it. That's your innings right there.
Yeah, and it's the end of Bazball as we know it.
This is their first loss since McCullum has become coach.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, there's 2 games left in the series, right? So let's see how.
Yeah, and I was reading something that said that if they can come back next series, they'll make it look like it's the comeback of the decade.
Yeah.
That's what they're good at.
The comeback of the decade's already been taken by India, boss. Adelaide to Gabba, nothing is going to top that. Of the century, in fact, of the millennium.
Yeah. So I think that's fun, man. I'm going to make a special effort to watch the next test because I love watching tests in England, and South Africa is right on top of their game. So do watch that. It'll be fun. Right. We're going to quickly get into the Asia Cup preview. DJ, let's go straight into Team India. That's what our listeners want to hear. Now, you were out for a couple of weeks, but were you astonished at the squad that Ashwin and I put together when we forgot to report or give everyone a rating out of 10 midway through?
That was great. Let's rate them out of 10. Oh yeah, we forgot. Amazing. Let's talk about Basra instead. So Geeta Basra is making a comeback, by the way. I think probably because of the trend that you created.
That's pretty cool, man. Harbhajan should reach out to me. But we were pretty much spot on where we got the backups also correct.
Yeah.
What's your view on the squad? Any big surprises for you? And what do you see India's playing 11 looking like?
Well, Kohli is going to be back, right? So he'll slot back in. I think Rahul will play because he's back. I think it's Rohit, Rahul, Kohli are going to open. So we're going to open with the same guys that opened the last time round, but probably with more intent. Sky bats 4 for me. 5 for me is Rishabh. Or Pant maybe 4. Depends. We probably need a left-hander in there somewhere. Pant maybe 4. Sky maybe 5. I don't know. 6 Pandya. I don't think, is Jadeja playing or is Akshar going to play? Is Jadeja?
Jadeja's playing.
It's going to be Jadeja then, and then there's no Boom, but Bhuvi will play.
But Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah, so that's it, right? But you've got so many right-handers now. You need, like, who would you play? Who would you drop from that top 5, 6?
Yeah, we know the answer.
We know the answer, but we can't say it. But honestly, like, also, are you going to drop Kohli in the World Cup opener against Pakistan with that level of pressure? You're not. Remember the last time we played Pakistan, he was the only guy who got any runs. He got a 50.
Exactly.
Like when Shaheen Shah, who we should talk about. Waqar has said people are going to be relieved and all. I'm like, Hamara Bumrah nahi khel raha hai.
Yeah,
Shaheen is
exactly.
not playing. Maybe it's now just about even. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, they had one great match, man. Like, let's get over it.
It was a great match, though. That was
a great match. But
let's give him that.
You have to move past that. He might do it again. Kudos to him. But
so would you play Dinesh over?
It was, as our cricketers said, it was 20 bad minutes in the whole year.
It was actually like 1 over of bad batting which just killed the game. But
so
would you play Dinesh over Rishabh?
I would play Dinesh because
over Rishabh.
Yeah, I think it has to be Rishabh or Rahul.
But then you have 6 right-handers, boss, to start.
Yeah. So, but let me give you my logic why I would play him is because I think if there's any magic that is going to happen at the World Cup, it's going to come. Like, I think Dinesh Karthik probably could do that. Now, I could be wrong. Nothing may happen. You could reach the finals and Dinesh Karthik gets out for 0. But I am willing to take the chance.
So you will drop Rishabh Pant to play
No,
KL
I'm not.
Rahul, who's captaining India right now, but has hardly played any cricket all year other than
No,
his
that's what I said.
IPL
I would
anchoring.
say that's what I said that I'm open Rishabh Pant. I'm open to Rahul. Maybe Rahul preferred over Pant. I mean, I don't
Why?
get it. Like
But if you're playing
I,
Kohli, you don't need to prefer Rahul over Pant. Kohli is going to give you that stability.
that's what I'm saying. No, I would prefer dropping Rahul over Pant.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you'd open with
Sky or Kohli. Like, why was Sky opening for the last 10 days or the last 1 month?
just
I don't
everybody
know.
open. So we have revolving doors for openers, captains, wicket keepers. But I would
Yeah.
actually, now that I think of it, I'm going to backtrack. I would rather open with Pant, and what is going to happen is different. What I would like to
Yeah.
happen is you open with Pant and Rohit, Kohli batting at 3,
Yeah.
then have Sky, and then you have DK, and then Pandya, and then Jadeja and the bowlers.
Yeah.
We just ignore the bowlers on this team. We just we don't
We
care.
just always no, but we
Chahal,
always
Bhuvi, someone will show up. They're fodder for the batsman anyway.
I mean, Harshal, Bhuvi, Chahal, and essentially it's one more, like an Avesh Khan
Harshal's
or-
injured, but
Oh, Harshal is injured. I thought he
yeah.
was there.
He's
Oh,
injured.
so
I
no
don't. He's
Bumrah,
in
no
doubt for the
Harshal.
T20 World Cup also.
Oh,
So
that's not good.
for
Yeah.
me, the replacement for him is Arshdeep.
Yeah.
Left arm
Oh,
also.
dude,
Too
Arshdeep
good.
was awesome. He
Yeah,
was really
he's
good.
left arm also. That's what we need, man.
Yeah. So basically, DJ, it comes down to just that one spot, right? It's coming down to Dinesh Karthik and can he make his way? Because I can't remember who said this on Twitter today, is that you all keep talking about finishers, but Pant, Pandya, and Jadeja are finishers. So what are you trying to slot Dinesh Karthik in for when you've got 3 guys who are finishers?
But Pant is not a finisher. Pandya is
That's
probably
what my
a
issue is.
Jadeja
That
is
is,
hit and miss. DK is a specialist finisher.
and that is why look, with the horrendous World T20 last year, with a horrendous World Cup record in the last 10 years, I just feel that if I had to take a chance and a punt on somebody to create that magic, I would. That is why I would play DK. Because something has not been working throughout.
So who's going to be the man of the tournament, Varun? Let's pick your winner. I mean, we can talk about the squad, but I'm a little bit bored about talking about the T20 squad. It's the same discussion.
done.
Like the one that we need to drop, we can't drop, so we have to do other things. But like, okay, cool. That will not happen till the World Cup in Australia. No chance, right? So let's just figure out who else we're going to drop.
So let's go quickly on the winner and the man of the series.
The winner and the man of the tournament. Let's do it. Predict.
So I say India and Hardik Pandya.
Harpik? You've
Harpik
gone with
Dandia.
Harpik Dandia. That is a brave call.
Dude,
I
he's
love it.
just in a golden spell, and I wish to God he does this in the World T20. But he's on another level.
And you know who I'm going to pick?
Kohli.
It's going to be King Kohli.
Yeah.
And all this chatter about me saying we have to drop him is going to go to shit. And I'll be the happiest person in the world when that happens. And I'm going to say India is going to win. We are going to beat Pakistan in the final. Then everybody's going to cry about how Shaheen Shah Afridi was not playing. And then we're going to beat them at Melbourne on the
October
23rd
24th.
of October. 23rd, no? I'm there for it.
23rd.
I'm going
Yeah,
for it.
you're the one there. Yeah.
I'm going to be at the MCG watching India redeem itself, chase down all the runs that Pakistan put on the board with 1 wicket down, because it's going to be King Kohli again, who's going to just add to his tally.
All right. There you have it. Completely
Not a Kohli fan at all.
Completely
Unbiased view.
Unbiased, unrealistic. Like DJ's man of the series for the next 2 tournaments is King Kohli. I was going to say the same, but I realized you were going to, so I said Hardik Dandia. But
No,
hey,
Hardik is a
if
good
you
call, man. Wickets and
Yeah,
runs.
he's
And
bowling
captaincy
4 overs
aspirations.
And I saw somebody forwarded me a fake news tweet from @BCCCIII saying Hardik Dandia is the new captain of India. And they were serious when they sent it till I pointed out
But
the
he
Twitter
has
handle.
been the captain of India, so that is not fake. It's probably just old.
And it went on going. There you have it, guys. This week's episode, you can see we Yeah, we had fun doing this episode. We're going to be back next week. The Asia Cup would have started. We're probably going to be recording this around India-Pakistan time, just before or after. But join us next week. And in the meantime, like DJ said, please like and subscribe, help us grow. Thank you for listening to the Edges and Sledges podcast.